Welcome back, everybody. Matt and Brad here. Hope you're doing well. The day has finally come. A day that I thought I would never see. A raunchy romantic comedy is in theaters. I truly don't remember the last raunchy romantic comedy that was in a theater. I'm not talking about streaming. Yes, Netflix puts out romantic comedies. Amazon puts out romantic comedies. But really, there hasn't been that many raunchy romantic comedies, even on streaming. If you know of one, you can let me know in the comments. I watch these movies, romantic comedies. I haven't seen a raunchy one. And like I said, there hasn't been a true romantic comedy, in a while. Yeah, you can say Ticket to Paradise last year with George Clooney and Julia Roberts with a romantic comedy. Yeah, there's been, but the last raunchy comedy in a theater was probably Good Boys with Jacob Tremblay in 2019. And that was directed by the director who did this movie, No Hard Feelings. The movie before that was Girls Trip in 2018 with Tiffany Haddish and Jada Pinkett Smith. I think Queen Latifah was in that too. But the raunchy romantic comedy, like I said, I'm trying to think of the last time. I think maybe Trainwreck with Amy Schumer, the Judd Apatow film. Maybe? That was in 2015. And that was a raunchy romantic comedy? Wow. Whoa. And then there's a whole other dynamic to this movie that we haven't seen in a while. And that is Jennifer Lawerence. Where have you been? Oh, Jennifer, where have you been, oh, Jennifer? Have you noticed that? We really haven't seen Jennifer Lawerence in a while. In the 2010s, Jennifer Lawerence dominated the 2010s. Nominated people. 2010, she came out with Winter's Bone. Then she got a Golden Globe nomination right off the bat. And that was not a bat joke. Okay? 2011, she came out with The Beaver. I am not being raunchy here. Okay, that was the name of the movie. With Mel Gibson, Jodie Foster, and the late Anton Yelchin. She also had the first X-Men First Class movie. That was the start of a kind of a reboot prequel with James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender. So already in 2011, she came out with two movies. Boom, boom. 2012, we had The Hunger Games and Silver Lining Playbook. One of them started a whole new franchise. One of the better YA franchises outside of Harry Potter. And then she won her first Academy Award, only in her second year in acting in film, and she won an Academy Award for Best Actress. And then in 2013, she had another Hunger Games, and American Hustle. In 2014, she had X-Men Days of Future Past, and she had another The Mockingjay Part 1. 2015, Mockingjay Part 2, and she had Joy. Not a joy at all. 2016, she had another X-Men movie. And she had the Chris Pratt sci-fi movie, Passengers. 2017, she had, I don't know what she had in 2017. 2018, she had Red Sparrow. And that was the last movie that Jennifer Lawrence was the star of. 2018. We are in the middle of 2023. The first movie in a theater where she started since 2018. And that Red Sparrow movie came out in February of 2018. So it's been over, 5.5 years since we've seen Jennifer Lawrence in a movie, in a theater, starring in it. Now, when I said it was nice to have a break from Jennifer Lawrence, I didn't mean 5.5 years, people. I thought maybe a year, maybe 2, 5.5. And not only that, but she comes back with a comedy. She is hilarious. She is hilarious. She has some personality, some comedic timing that this whole time I was going, why haven't you done a comedy? You're great in dramas. Great. Some of the best dramatic actors can also be the best comedians. It's just like when they say some of the best comedians can sometimes end up being the best actors. Dramatic actors. Like the late Robin Williams. And finally, she does a comedy. Not only does she do the comedy, she does a raunchy, romantic comedy. Yes. No hard feelings. Positives. Jennifer Lawerence. Jennifer Lawerence is great in this movie. This movie is elevated because of Jennifer Lawerence. Like I said before, when she does the interviews, and she is hilarious in those interviews. And I always say, why don't you do a romantic comedy? And here she is. And let me tell you, she nails it. But you know what makes it even better? Unlike all those other romantic comedies, yes, you have actors in there, but, some of them, they're good, but they're not Academy Award level actors. I love There's Something About Mary, but Cameron Diaz is not an Academy Award winning actor. Ben Stiller, I love him, not an Academy Award winning actor. Jim Carrey, he's been nominated, never won. But, when you can blend, even Matthew McConaughey in his early 2000s, now he's an Academy Award winner. But back in the day, he was just alright. But then when you get Jennifer Lawrence, who's done 10 years of dramatic roles, Oscar nominations, Oscar wins, and she brings that into this movie, along with the comedic moments. It's a winning formula. It's gold. And you see that on the screen. There are moments, even in the serious moments, you go, Jennifer, this is a romantic comedy, a raunchy. You're not going for Oscar here. Cut it out. Because she just goes all the way. And you're just like, shit. Wow, okay. This just elevated the romantic comedy genre. Her chemistry with Andrew Feldman, the male actor, the male lead in this movie, is great. They have great chemistry. It works. You believe it. And once again, probably one of the most important things in a romantic comedy is that the chemistry of the two leads actually is believable. If you don't believe, you don't succeed. I don't know where I was going with that, but you get my point. If you don't believe the chemistry, you're not going to care about the movie. And they have great chemistry. Speaking of Andrew Feldman, never seen this actor. He's actually pretty good. He has a personality. He works well with Jennifer Lawrence. And like I said, I love these type of movies. I love when you get the nerd, like in There's Something About Mary, Ben Stiller, with the braces at the beginning, and, gets Cameron Diaz to go to prom with him, even though they never made it to prom, if you know what I mean. Or you got the Seth Rogen and the Katherine Heigls in Knocked Up. Or you get the She's Out of My League. To me, one of my favorite romantic comedies in the past 13 years, with Alice Eve and Jay Baruchel. Jay Baruchel getting Alice Eve? No fucking way. But hey, we can dream, So, when you get a guy like this Andrew Feldman, a 19-year-old, nerdy, always in his room, always on the computer, doesn't have that many friends, doesn't drink. Wow. I wonder who that sounds like. Yet then this hot blonde girl wants to go out with him. Those are the best romantic comedies. It gives us nerds some hope. But he has great chemistry. He has some fun. Once he starts to open up in the movie, he has a lot of personality. He works. I've never seen him in anything, but you know what? I'm going to keep an eye on him down the road. This movie's very raunchy. Now, people are describing it as not raunchy enough. No, I wouldn't say it's on the same level as like a American Pie. Even though, I don't know though, but when you see Jennifer Lawrence, full frontal nudity, I don't know. I mean, you didn't have full frontal nudity in American Pie. Now, in The Wolf of Wall Street, that's a different story. So, this movie is raunchy, like I just said. You have a lot of raunchy humor. You have nudity, full frontal nudity. You have drinking. You have sex jokes. You have some other things that happen later on in the movie. This is a raunchy movie. So, teenagers, don't go to this movie with your parents. They're going to look at you oddly, weirdly, give you the look. You brought me to this movie. You're perfect. I don't get why people are like, oh, it's not raunchy enough. Well, unless you wanted the 19-year-old boy to do a little coke on Jennifer Lawrence's boobs, like in The Wolf of Wall Street, that's as far as you're going to get. I mean, I don't know how far you want to go. It had a lot of heart. And actually by the third act, this movie gets really sweet. Like, very like, wow, I'm really feeling for these characters. It's tugging at some heartstrings a little bit. What am I watching? I was going in for a raunchy romantic comedy. This is pulling at the heartstrings a little bit. It's getting a little too sweet. Sweet. Stop. But yeah, it has some really sweet moments. It also really develops the characters in a full arc. Especially for Jennifer Lawrence's character. Which I liked. It's great to have the comedy, but you need a little bit something else. This movie has great pacing. It's an hour and 43 minutes. Probably like an hour 40 or a little less before credits. Perfect runtime for a movie like this. I mean, I think comedies in general in the 90 to hour 40 minute mark, 90 to 100 minutes, is perfect. This movie has themes dealing with the rich and the middle class, and how that works, Jennifer Lawrence comes from the middle class, where this 19-year-old boy comes from the upper class, the rich. This movie also deals with the Gen Z generation, the themes of, how people are these days. Jennifer Lawrence goes to a party to find Andrew Feldman's character, and she's going through the house, and people are mocking her. Oh, are you looking for your son? Like, no, I'm only, I'm 30 years old. What do you mean? Am I looking for my son? Then she goes to each bedroom to find him, and she opens one bedroom. Kids are on their tablet, sitting down on the floor. She goes to another bedroom. They're on the bed with their phones looking up. 3 of them on the bed looking at their phone. And she goes, doesn't anyone fuck anymore? God! Why don't you just fuck? And it's funny because, we live in a generation now that it's all about the cell phone. It's all about the tablet. And doesn't anyone have sex anymore? Really? Come on. So, that generational gap is explored a little bit in the movie. There's something about Mary. I see a little bit of that. But to me it felt actually like if you got a John Hughes film, your teen comedies of the 80s, 16 Candles, The Breakfast Club, Pretty in Pink, and I mean we have Matthew Broderick in this movie as the Andrew Feldman's father. And yes, they have a Ferris Bueller homage in this movie. Wink, wink. When to me, I was watching this movie and I'm going, you know what this movie reminds me of a lot? A Matthew McConaughey romantic comedy. Alright, boy. Failure to Launch. I think this movie came out in like 2005, 2006. Matthew McConaughey, Sarah Jessica Parker, Kathy Bates, Doug from The Hangover, Zoe Deschanel, Bradley Cooper. It reminded me of Failure to Launch. And I think this movie, No Hard Feelings, executes the concept a lot better. Parents have a 19-year-old kid. He doesn't get out much. He doesn't do anything. He's about to go off to college. They want him to get out there and, be a normal kid before going to college. So they hire a young woman to kind of take him out, date him, fuck him, before he goes off to college. Kind of like Failure to Launch, they hire someone to get Matthew McConaughey to get out of the house and go live on his own. But I think the concept here with because A is a 19-year-old boy, not a 30-something-year-old like Matthew McConaughey is supposed to be. And the girl is only like 29, 30. So it's a better idea, a better concept, better executed. And like I said, it has a little bit of that John Hughes flavor, which who doesn't like the Ferris Bueller's Day Off? The 16 Candles, Pretty in Pink, Breakfast Club, planes, trains, and automobiles, that heart, that sweetness. Some of my negatives with this movie. One of the things that works in any romantic comedy, any raunchy romantic comedy, is the supporting cast. You look at, you go back to Wedding Crashers. I want my painting back. The brother. Todd. Or you look at Knocked Up, Seth Rogen's friends. Or Katherine Heigl's friends. Leslie Mann, Paul Rudd. You look at the best romantic comedy, then a really great supporting cast is missing that. Like we have the parents, Matthew Broderick and his wife. We see them at the beginning, and then we see them at the end. They're not in the middle. It's like nothing. We miss them for like a whole full hour or so. It would be nice to have maybe one or two scenes in the middle with the parents. And Jennifer Lawerence has this friend couple. One of them played by Natalie Morales. And the husband's really funny. We have a lot of great moments at the beginning with him. Very funny, humorous scenes. And then we really don't see them again until the third act, the end. And I'm like, you needed more in the middle with these characters. So I think this movie was missing a supporting cast. That makes up a lot of great romantic raunchy comedies. But that's about it. I think this is a good romantic comedy. And it's a raunchy comedy. I like raunchy movies. Hey, it's a raunchy romantic comedy. It works. Is it on the level of American Pie? No, you don't have Stifler in here. But the one thing I came out of this movie, though, I would probably give this movie a 4.5, 4.4, 4.5 out of 5. It's a solid romantic comedy that has some heart. But one of the things that came out of this movie going, you know what Jennifer Lawrence needs to do? She needs to have the reverse of the McConaughey thoughts. She needs to have the Lawrence thoughts, but now instead of doing serious roles, do romantic comedies. Do comedies for a little bit. Because guess what? You have a great personality, you're extremely funny, and bring back the romantic comedy genre. Because I'm tired, I love my comic book movies, but like I said at the beginning of this video, I haven't seen a romantic comedy in I don't know how long. How long? I've seen so many comic book movies, and I'm like, you know what, if we did an analysis on how many romantic comedies in the past 10 years to how many comic book movies there's been, oh boy. Oh boy. So Jennifer Lawrence, if this movie is a success, it makes some money, start doing more romantic comedies. We want to see the Lord of the Thoughts. Let's do it. Matt the Mad here.